I want to ask your dad a question. How did you become a sports writer, Mr. Cohn?
Sure. What happened was when I finished my education, I knew I wanted to be a writer, but I didn't know what kind of writer I wanted to be. And I was living in Palo Alto at the time, and I hooked on with the local paper called the Palo Alto Times. But I was not a sports writer. I was a film critic. And what a film critic, does, you go see a movie when it just comes out, and you write an article about it, telling, whether you think it's a good movie or not, and whether you recommend it to viewers, and why or why not. And so I was a film critic. But at the same time, I also was selling articles to Sports Illustrated. I had made a connection there, and I was what you call a freelance writer. I was not on their staff, but I had a relationship with them, and I gave them ideas. They often liked them, and I wrote stuff would go in the magazine, and they'd pay me. After a while, when I had enough articles, I wrote to the San Francisco Chronicle and said I would like to meet with them, and maybe they would hire me. And I thought if they would hire me, they would hire me as a film critic. But they had just hired a film critic, and they asked me would I like to be a sports columnist. So sure. I would love to be a sports columnist. What I'm saying is I wasn't in love with sports. I was in love with writing. And I could have written about movies or sports or anything else they wanted me to do. But I knew a lot about sports. I had grown up like you, interested in sports. I knew all about baseball and football and basketball and boxing, which used to be a big deal and isn't anymore. And so I just ended up being a sports writer, and I loved my life. I did it for 40 years. It was incredibly exciting. But the way I got into it was just I sent my stuff in. Somebody there liked my stuff. And my story is unusual. Usually you go to school to study journalism, which I never did. I studied English literature. And then you get a job at a small paper, and then they see you and you cover high school stuff and you work your way up. I never did anything like that. What I did was almost like a miracle.
Do you feel like it was a miracle if they hired you to be a sports writer instead of a movie critic?
Yes, I think I was much happier as a sports writer than I would have been as a movie critic. And I'll tell you why, Iggy. Mm-hmm. As a movie critic, I'd be writing about somebody else's work.
Yes.
As a columnist, I was doing my work.
Right.
I was the primary creative artist.
Yes.
Yeah, I was the primary creator. So, and also as a film critic, I really wouldn't have gotten to know very many people because I'd just be watching movies in a dark room. But yeah. as a sports writer, I got to know Joe Montana, Jerry Rice, Steve Young, Randy Cross. I got, Ahmad Brooks, Bill Walsh, Steve Mariucci.
It's too bad at the end of movies that they don't bring out the director and the leading actor and actress and be like in the third act, what the hell was that? First of all,
what was that?
The hell was that?